This morning on Early Today, what happened? Testimony at the trial of Michael Jackson's doctor reveals more on the dramatic final moments of the pop star's life. Sicilian spectacle, Mount Etna lights up the sky with bursts of lava. And cat got your tongue? A Massachusetts feline with 2 heads makes the Guinness Book of World Records.
This is Early Today for Friday, September 30th, 2011.
Hello and good morning. I'm Lynn Berry, and today we begin with chilling testimony. For a third day, emotions ran high in a Los Angeles courtroom where Michael Jackson's personal physician, Dr. Conrad Murray, stands accused of involuntary manslaughter in the late pop star's death. Yesterday, jurors heard more details about the crucial moments surrounding Jackson's death. NBC's Stephanie Stanton has more.
After 3 days of emotional testimony, Jackson family members left the courthouse surrounded by supportive fans.
Please be seated.
Meanwhile, inside the courtroom, compelling testimony from a key witness for the prosecution.
He was laying on his back.
Security guard Alberto Alvarez recalled those critical minutes in Jackson's bedroom on June 25th of 2009, all while Jackson's children watched.
Paris screamed out, "Daddy."
Alvarez says he was asked to call 911.
We have a gentleman here that needs help.
But not before he said Conrad Murray told him to help collect drug vials and an IV bag in the room.
He then pointed towards the IV stand and he said, "Now get that bag or remove that bag and put it in the blue bag."
And the cause now pending before this court.
Later, Jackson's personal chef testified about that fateful day.
It was a very devastating day.
Kai Chase said she was preparing Jackson's lunch when Dr. Murray came running down the stairs in a panic.
He was shouting.
What did he shout?
Get help, get security, get Prince.
Chase was also questioned about several paid interviews she did after Jackson's death.
And were you paid for that interview?
Yes, I was.
How much?
$1,000.
Stephanie Stanton, NBC News, Los Angeles.
On the political front, after a week full of will he or won't he speculation about a presidential bid, this morning it appears New Jersey Governor Chris Christie is adding more fuel to the fire. According to New York's WNBC, Christie is no longer ruling out a run for president. After months of adamant denials, sources tell the station the first-term governor is reconsidering his stance after what he felt was a strong outpouring of support during appearances throughout the country this week. A final decision could come as early as next week. Elsewhere, Facebook is in hot water, this time with Congress over potential privacy violations. Co-chairs of a bipartisan congressional caucus have asked the Federal Trade Commission to launch an inquiry after it was recently discovered that Facebook was using cookie software to track users' online activity even after they logged off the social network. Facebook says it has since fixed the problem, adding in a statement yesterday that it, quote, did not store or use any information it should not have. Still, Congress is concerned the practice raises privacy concerns. The satirical newspaper The Onion set off a firestorm of controversy yesterday after a series of tweets sent out alleging gunfire and hostage-taking on Capitol Hill. Capitol Police are investigating the paper for making false reports after enough Twitter users were alarmed by The Onion's post yesterday morning. On its website, the story, along with a doctored photo of House Speaker Boehner holding a child hostage, was clearly a spoof, but the more abbreviated headlines on Twitter on the same day as headlines about a terror plot uncovered by the FBI left some believing the story to be true. And now here's a look at some other stories making news early today in America. The life of a Florida child was saved by a group of bystanders after he was run over by a car. The boy became trapped under after getting out of his grandmother's car and falling in front of an oncoming vehicle. The makeshift rescue crew freed the boy by lifting the car and pulling him from underneath. He is expected to recover from his injuries. A pit bull puppy is expected to make a miraculous recovery after surviving a very bizarre experience in an Alabama garden. Blues owners rushed him to the vet after he swallowed a garden flagpole. Surgeons were able to remove the pole and patch up the adorable canine without causing damage to other organs. And finally, in Virginia, attention Target shoppers, Michelle Obama was doing her part to help spur the economy, dressed incognito in a baseball cap and shades, shopping in a Capitol area store. The White House didn't release details on what the First Lady purchased, but did say she often will slip out on regular errands. And now for a look at your national and regional weather. Here's meteorologist Dominica Davis from WNBC for New York. She has your forecast. Good morning to you. Can you imagine being in a checkout line, like picking up your gum? What is
this? Obama?
What?
She still look good. She always
does. Yeah, absolutely.
So the weekend's here. Yes, we're all excited about that. And we do have some big changes, and they're not all necessarily bad. So that's the good news. There's a look at the wider view, and you can see our satellite radar, and still dealing with active weather that's moving off to the east. So this is a cold front, the last of the cold fronts that's going to push through the Ohio Valley. But what this does is it brings some cooler air to much of the country. So from the middle part of the country all the way off to the east, we are going to see some fall-like temperatures and even a little preview of winter where we could get our first snowflakes out to the west. Tropics still heating up. The biggest storm, though, is Hurricane Ophelia. This is just south of the Bahamas. It is expected to stay in the open waters of the Atlantic, so no threat to the U.S. And here's how your Friday's forecast looks. We do have a chance for a few isolated storms out to the west. Other than that, it's quiet through the middle part of the country, but cool as that air is heading off to the east. So we're in the 70s once again from New York, Washington, all the way up to Boston, but that cold air is moving off and will be there for the weekend. Here's a look at your local forecast. New York 79, Charlotte 78 today. Columbus, Ohio will be 55, Kansas City 69. Pueblo, Colorado, they'll be doing with clouds around 82 degrees. And that's a look at your Friday forecast.
All right, Dominica, thanks so much. Well, Bank of America getting booed. China stocks get the red hot drop, and a familiar restaurant chain may be no more. Your early morning business headlines are straight ahead. Plus, can an R-rated comedy drama about having cancer win it all this weekend at the box office?
Coming up, an upset in college football, and baseball's postseason is finally here. You're watching Early Today.
We're America's natural gas, and